Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart is told from the point of view of a narrator who tries to explain to the reader that he is actually not crazy, all the while telling us how he carefully and meticulously murdered an innocent old man before chopping up his body and hiding the body parts underneath the floorboards. We, as the reader, know that this guy's insane, even as the entire story was told to try to convince us of the opposite. There can be a distinct disconnect between what someone tells us and what reality actually is. The Emperor's New Groove is another good example. The movie starts out with Emperor Cusco, now a llama, telling us that
I was the world's nicest guy and they ruined my life for no reason.
Later in the movie, though, we see how Cusco actually is.
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Sorry! You were saying?
What's his name?
From the way he interacts with people and treats those around him, we know that he's actually a spoiled brat. Once again, there is a disconnect between what a character says they are and how they actually are. So, how is the author or director able to get us to see what reality actually is, while what we're being told is the opposite? The answer, I think, lies somewhat in point of view. Most people think a point of view as either first, third limited, third omniscient, or third limited omniscient, the first and latter of which are the most commonly used. But have we ever stopped and asked, why is the point of view important? Does it even matter what point of view the story is written in? Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I've never asked myself those questions in my life. Well, maybe you should. Anyway, why are most books written in first person or third limited omniscient? These two point of views allow the reader to see the action of the story only through one or a few characters' eyes. Harry Potter is a great example of this. With the exception of just a few chapters throughout the series, most of the events that transpire are given to us through Harry's perspective. This was purposefully done by the author, J.K. Rowling.
Hey, how did Harry Potter get down the hill? By walking. J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling uses this point of view to create mystery and suspense. For instance, if we had known that Quirrell was a bad guy from the start, or that Snape was a good guy, or that Scabbers was Peter, or that Moody was Barty Crouch Jr., or that etc., then the books wouldn't be nearly as exciting or suspenseful. But because we only know what Harry Potter knows, J.K. Rowling is able to keep certain information hidden. These books would not have worked written in third-person omniscient point of view. However, this point of view does work with some books. In books written in third-person omniscient, the narrator knows all and can tell all. Books such as The Lord of the Rings, Middlemarch, War and Peace, and Dune are all written in this point of view. This allows the reader to know everything about everyone. For instance, if there was a traitor, the reader would know it, and so it wouldn't come as a surprise when he betrays our heroes. This point of view could not work in, say, mystery novels. The author would have to either reveal who did it right up front, or else not look into the murderer character's head.
That's weird. I've seen into the thoughts of every character except for that one. Wait a second.
The point of view used can also completely change the meaning of text, especially if it is told through another character's perspective. For instance, we all know the story of the Three Little Pigs, but do we know the true story? What if it was told from the wolf's perspective? This was a question that John Schischka asks in the book, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. Told in first person instead of the normal third person omniscient view, it follows the story from the wolf's perspective instead of the pig's.
The whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Little pig, are you in? He yelled back, "Go away, wolf! You can't come in! I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin!" I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze.
As the amount of views increase, so do the number of different tales that could be told. If you've ever read the books Ender's Game and Ender's Shadow, you know this principle. Both tell the same story, but one tells it from Ender's perspective and the other one tells it from the character named Bean's perspective. Imagine the number of stories you could tell if you rewrote classic fairy tales from the perspective of a different character. You could write an entirely different tale. Cinderella from the Wicked Stepmother's perspective, or Jack and the Beanstalk from the Giants. Going back to the Telltale Heart and the Emperor's New Groove, perhaps this is why this author and director chose to frame their point of view the way they did. You get two different views and perspectives of the same events, one from the narrator and one from our outside perspective, and thus get two different stories, two different narratives, just from one story. So yes, point of view is important. It allows the author a natural way to hide certain information they don't want to tell us. It can retell a well-known story in a completely different light, and it can tell two narratives in the same space as one. So the next time you're reading a story and the point of view seems random, uncoordinated, and without a point, and you're saying to yourself,
by all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Just remember that the author probably knew what he was doing. Just give it time, and soon you'll be saying to yourself,
No, he's got a point.
The end.
Pull the lever, Kronk. Run!